Welcome to Oakland Creates guest of honor interview. I have Fred Noland here. He's a wonderful comic and cartoonist creator here in the Oakland area. I'll start right away with sharing my screen and we'll jump right into the interview. And so let's see, let's make it bigger. Perfect. So can you see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. So welcome everyone, Fred Noland. His specialty is visual storytelling, whether in animation, comics, or illustration. Noland's comics have appeared in The New Yorker, Popular, and the East Bay Express. His illustrations have appeared in LA Weekly, Nickelodeon Junior, Xbox, Magazine, Revolver, Canoe and Kayak, and more. He was the chief artist on the animated short series Priced Out, which has been shown worldwide, and his graphic novel biography about turn-of-the-century champion cyclist Major Taylor is scheduled for release from John and Quarterly in 2023. Fred lives in Oakland, California, where he is an avid but unremarkable cyclist and proud papa. All right, so let's just jump right into the book, Steady Rollin'. Tell me a little bit more about the book and
Yes.
why you started it.
Yeah, Steady Rollin' came out of my association with Birdcage Bottom Books. Like I've worked on a few anthologies with them and approached them about printing something else, like a collection of previously printed work that I'd done. And they prefer memoir work. And they're like, you've done some memoir comics for us, so maybe we could do something in that direction. So I thought about it and I thought, I'm sure I can put together like 50 pages or something. And apparently, I spent quite a lot of time navel gazing because there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of me talking about myself that I had to go through. So yeah, it's a collection of memoir comics that appeared in the New Yorker, some stuff that appeared previously in anthologies, work that appeared in sketchbooks, and I've ordered it in a way that it comes across kind of like an actual autobiography, but it's a collection of short stories.
And then also, like I said to you earlier, I noticed a lot of Major Taylor artwork. Explain to me what's your love for cycling, what that's about, and also your connection to Major Taylor.
Yeah, so I came to, I rode bikes as a kid and then I didn't touch them for 20 something years. And then one day it just kind of came to mind to try out biking, like, just popped into my head. It would be a good way to get to BART, get around, it's just like kind of like a logistical thing. And I just got drawn more and more and more into it. There's just a way in which cycling for me calms my mind. Like the cadence like gets me to like calm down.
Right.
And I tend to problem solve a lot when I'm in that state. Whereas if I'm just like trying to work, frequently I can get, I'm sure you've encountered it, I can just like hit a wall and just get stuck. If I'm ever stuck, I get on a bike and I get unstuck very quickly because I just don't think about it. And when you don't think about it, when you don't force it, it tends to come. And from cycling, I started cycling 21 years ago now. I encountered one of the Major Taylor cycling clubs, and I'd never heard of him before, and looked into him, and that has grown into this whole thing. I did a mini comic about him. I'm now doing a graphic novel for Drawn and Quarterly. It's actually going to be out in 2025. 2023 is almost over. It kept getting longer and longer, so we had to push the deadline out a bit.
Can you tell us a little bit more just about his background, who he is, for folks that aren't familiar?
Sure. So Marshall Major Taylor was born in Indianapolis in 1878. And he was the like kind of a hired playmate for his father's employer. And they gave him a bicycle. He got a lot of amenities along with that deal. They gave him a bicycle. When they left, he took the bicycle and he was like, had an alacrity for riding, just this natural athleticism. He could do all this trick riding and stuff. And in Indianapolis, he was seen as this kind of novelty, like this little 12-year-old black kid who could do like these crazy tricks. So he'd do these as part of the entertainment attractions for local bike shops. And he also started to work as person who would train people how to ride bikes. And he went from that to starting a career as a track cyclist. And in the 1800s, early 1900s, track cycling was as popular as, say, baseball or football is now. Like, it was this whole phenomenon.
Okay.
And unfortunately, being Black in the 1800s, and being good at it, he would beat a lot of white riders and they didn't like that. So he would get banned from tracks. They would change bylaws in these different cycling bodies. So eventually he was forced to start racing overseas. So he raced in Europe, he raced in Australia, and he was a champion racer in all those places. So just an amazing story. He never doped. He wouldn't race on Sundays. He wouldn't swear. Like, he was just this really admirable cat.
That's so cool. Wow, I can't wait for your book to come out. And then of course I saw that you and Justin had posted on Instagram about several people that I know have gotten their posters on the Muni line in San Francisco in the kiosk for the buses. Tell me a little bit more about this. I love this art. It's amazing art, and tells a little bit about the history of Black people in San Francisco, I take it.
Yeah, because San Francisco is always seen, I think it's seen more as a like white city, and there's a really deep history of Black people going back to the foundation of San Francisco. And of course, expanding during the war effort, because the Bay Area was home to a lot of military bases and manufacturing sites.
Right, a lot of
Um,
shipyard workers, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of them. So yeah, Justin had introduced me to it, and the year before he had done a series of posters for the same kiosks on San Francisco's part in the gay liberation movement.
Okay.
And when he did that, he was like, "You need to do this because you can do something along these lines for like Black history in San Francisco." And that's what I did. I did 7 different posters and kind of jumped around the timeline from the mid 1800s up to the 70s, like late 70s. Sylvester, like one of just when I was drawing their page, I was listening to "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real" about 5,000 times.
Classic.
I you cannot play that song enough. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and also I drew Sly and the Family Stone. I see you have that too. That it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then who is the person with the fans? Explain a little bit more.
Oh, that's Sylvester. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay. Okay, because I remember, I wasn't aware until I looked at one of the things that I was researching for Black History Month, that they are here or they were here.
yes.
They've passed away now, but okay.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah. And the Weather Girls were his backup singers. Just an amazing history.
That's amazing.
Apparently, like, David Bowie encountered him during the height of his glam phase. Just amazing crossover there. And it's stuff that never gets talked about.
Well, David Bowie is a real one. He always gives credit to Black music, and I love him for that. So
Yeah.
also, we both participated in Black History Month drawings, and I found that we both drew similar historical characters. And so tell me a little bit about this. Is Toni Morrison and Audre Lorde, I believe?
Yeah. So when I started doing the Black History Month illustrations, I wanted to kind of get off the beaten path of what always gets covered. It's always Rosa Parks, and they're giants, of course. Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., of course. And that's great. And we need to honor those people, of course, because they're giants. But there are so many other subjects who just don't get the attention that they deserve.
Right.
So I started working with more obscure historical figures one year. And then the next year, I thought, I want to just do women in Black history, because women in Black history get ignored the most. We have kind of like the sainted figure of Rosa Parks again, but we don't get into all these other people who did a lot of heavy lifting.
Right.
And the year after that, I decided to do women and LGBTQ plus figures, because that's another thing that I feel like our community really struggles with, is making peace with our sisters and brothers who don't fall into the whole, gender binary, and it gets
Right.
ignored. So I just wanted to, a lot of what I do, a lot of my mission as an artist and as a writer is trying to resurface these under discussed topics in Black history. So Major Taylor is one of them, Audre Lorde, and everybody knows Toni Morrison, but like,
Right.
she's
Right.
still awesome. So I wanted to draw her.
And it's like I said, so funny. I drew Nichelle Nichols as well, and then Octavia Butler too. So we are kind of on the same wavelength about who we kind of honor. And
It's the blurred thing.
yeah, it's for sure. And these are just amazing because I knew who they were right away. You get like capture such a unique likeness that I'm always telling folks that I want to learn that shorthand, that shortcut when that cartoonists use to get across, expression with fewer lines than what I do because
Yeah.
I'm so heavily cross-hatched with all my stuff and shading, and then this is just like pops. It's so bright and brilliant, and you convey so much with just a few lines, and you captured them perfectly. So I really love this series.
Thank you. Yeah, I always try to think of the artist Al Hirschfield is one of those people who can really get across a likeness with like very simple lines. And I'm always striving for that simplicity in iconography.
Yeah, because Baynard Rustin, I knew who that was, and then Leon Talley, and I'm so glad you're capturing these people. These are amazing. I definitely yeah, I commend you for that. I love it. And like you said, I kind of want to do when I do Black History drawings more, off the beaten path or obscure icons, so that I'm learning more and I'm
Yeah.
teaching folks about something new.
Yeah, and there's also a tendency when you have just these handful, like the 5 or 10 people who usually get covered, to
Right,
see them as being these absolute exceptions in the Black community.
right,
Like these rare people who rise to this level, and they are, but there's also so many people behind and beside them. Like we're not like there are a lot of exceptional Black people, and that's what I'd like to get across more.
right.